Welcome to San Antonio, home of the Alamo, and where USC will play their final game of the 2025 season. I'm back. Marvin Powell III, he's back. Always love to have him back. If you're wondering what the 2026 season is going to look like, the roster, the team, then watch USC playing the Alamo because you're going to get a preview of what the team is going to look like. We're going to talk about that, plus some coaching news. All that's on this next episode of Locked On USC.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on and welcome to Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, also the #1 sports podcast network. So whether you are watching this show on YouTube, wherever you want to download this podcast, you pick the platform. This show is going to be free. This show will always appreciate your support. And today's episode is brought to you by Rougiette. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now's the time. Head to rougiette.com/lockedoncollege, and you're going to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rougiette ready, feel present, feel confident, feel ready. They say out here in San Antonio, Marvin, remember the Alamo. Between the game that's played on December 30th against TCU and the next time USC actually suits up to play another opponent, the fans will be able to say, I saw some of that in the Alamo Bowl. I remember seeing that. Well, whatever everyone is, I guess, hoping for is that the team, kind of looks like they want to be there. I just know from past USC teams, if they weren't playing in the Rose Bowl or playing for something really big, you kind of got the effort like, glad we're here, but not wish I wasn't here type of thing. The last game of this season coming up, it can literally illustrate whether the locker room is connected or whether it's broken, whether the leaders are going to step up or whether they're going to disappear. Whether Fight On is still real or just something you would kind of, you print on the merchandise now, right? Fight On. Is that still really going on? And we're not going to get into the whole USC Notre Dame thing. We're going to give that a rest. But I think the culture starts to show itself most clearly when the reward is minimal. When I'm talking about a bowl game, it's not the playoffs. And that's the end goal now in today's college football. So I spent part of my Sunday at the defensive players and coaches press conference. D'Anton Lynn was there, DeCarlos Nicholson, Christian Pierce, Jide Abasiri. Those were the guys sitting up there on the dais. And yes, I did get to ask Coach Lynn the one question that matters, the one that we're going to talk about that in the second segment. So while some players are returning to play in 2026, some others aren't, like DeCarlos Nicholson. He's moving on to the NFL. How they approach, getting ready for the game, playing in this game, it's different, but it's the same. But there's one common denominator, and it's that these guys enjoy playing for each other. They want one more time to have that bond, that brotherhood. This is what DeCarlos Nicholson said, and I want to get your comment afterwards. For me, there's a multitude of reasons why he's playing in this game, but the job is not finished here. I mean, I just want to go out there with my brothers one more time and do this thing the right way. And then also, point to prove, just putting on a show and not putting any bad product on the field and just ending this thing the right way with our brothers. And just like Coach Lynn said, that momentum going into the offseason. And for me, leaving it better than I found it and showing the young guys how things are supposed to be done and the way to finish it off. Marvin, I love what D-Nick just said because it speaks to the culture and the foundations that's being laid out there. Give me your thoughts on DeCarlos actually playing in this game, knowing that he really has nothing left to prove and he can just get ready for the NFL.
Yeah, well, he's been invited to an All-Star game. He'll be playing. Yeah, he'll be playing in one of these games for NFL eligible players, which is a great thing. And what this guy wants, personally, he wants as much good film as possible. It doesn't matter if you're playing in this game against TCU or if it's the Rose Bowl or the playoffs. You never want to put bad film out there. You never want to have bad film where you're not playing hard, not playing fast, not competing, not trying to dominate. So this is just another opportunity for him to show these scouts, to show these teams, what he's about, And, in regards to how he's talking, it's leadership. I love it. He's speaking from a position of leadership, and that's exactly what it sounds like. And that's what you want to hear your guys saying. He's talking about wanting to be there, wanting to play with his guys, wanting to be a Trojan. You know what I mean? And in a day and age where these guys are leaving left and right and we're re-signing guys and all that, it's great to hear that. It's great to hear that there's a senior who opted to be here, could have been somewhere else. And in the end, he sees what's happening with the program. He's in these meetings. He's talking to these coaches. He understands how passionate they are. And what I love about it is Lincoln Riley, he said that he's going to be focusing more on high school kids, getting these guys from grassroots. And what you want those guys hearing is that kind of leadership from DeCarlos. You want those guys hearing that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So this is a really great opportunity for these young guys, without question. I remember, being in Rose Bowl prep, me and Chad Morton were the scout backs getting our butts kicked. Chad was making plays. I was getting my butt kicked. I was the full, he was a tailback. I was a young pup back then. And, it's a lot of extra work. You get a lot of reps. And if you're a senior, I've been a senior preparing for a bowl game, the Sun Bowl against TCU back in '99. And, that didn't turn out well. But, again, you want to get good practicing because you want to have, a good game. And, everything he's saying is what you want to hear your guys saying on the way out. Think about it. The goal for us, the standard is a national championship, period. Okay. That was the goal this year. They didn't achieve that. But, you're not hearing bitterness. You're not hearing anger. You're hearing a guy who realizes they're building something. This is a positive environment. We're moving this thing forward. You know what I mean? That's, if you read between the lines, that's what you're hearing him say. And I love that. You want to hear that from the guys. Whereas a lot of these guys, a lot of these kids, are taking shots out, at their coaches across the country and saying different things on social media. Not our guys, at least not this guy. And I love that. So that does really speak to the culture that's being built and being developed, led by Lincoln and Chad. Jen's a major part of that. And, going into this game, I'm happy to hear these guys talking like that, specifically him, because he came from a different program. You know what I mean? Yeah. In that, he had a chance to leave, like I said. So this is good, man. This is really good, as we focus on, completing completing a goal here. I mean, listen, we want to be in double-digit wins. That's a good thing. We beat one of our rivals. That's a good thing. When undefeated against a Big Ten schedule at home, that's a good thing. So this is moving in the right direction. And hearing your leadership say that is just more of a testament to that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also, like you're saying, it goes to his maturity. I'm sure most people know this by now. He has a son. He's actually been almost part of the team now, and it's always brought up. But when you're responsible for an actual person in real life, you carry that over into everything you do in real life. And especially if you're playing football, that there's a responsibility, there's accountability.
Absolutely.
All that's a part of them. Now, on the flip side, two of the younger guys who, once the calendar flips in a couple days, they will automatically become a couple of the older guys. But Christian Pierce and Jide Abasiri, they were also up there with Coach Lynn and with D-Nick. Afterwards, they kind of, when we did the whole, everybody up there on the dais together, they broke apart. We got to talk to each person individually. I loved Jide Abasiri's Q&A that I had with him. This is his view on the bowl game and the guys who were actually playing. This is what he had to say. And I never thought about it this way, but then again, we never really had the transfer portal involved. But he said this: bowl games are pretty special in the fact that it's just a select group of people. It's not the team from the fall. It's not going to be the team next year. It's just this single team. So you get a really good feel for who's been a part from the beginning and who might be there next year and who might not be. So it's just a good time to see the guys before they leave and take off. And it's been good because we have a new environment. Like I said, I've never had to think about it from that perspective because of the transfer portal. But to hear, Jide, who's going to, he's a sophomore this year, he'll be a junior next year. He's realizing how quickly time is flying by. But that's a really unique perspective. Hey, this is our team during bowl prep. We had the team for the regular season. I'm not sure what the team will look like in 2026. This is today's team. Can you relate to that? Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah, let me tell you something, Mark. This again, that's leadership, man. That's leadership. I think he's showing a little bit of gratitude there, and just realizing the moment. And he's right. I mean, it's kind of like how we're like shedding our skin. We're growing, moving forward, and we're losing the old. You know what I mean? And here's the new. And the guys that are there want to be there. These are the guys that want to be there. And he's talking from a perspective of a guy who wants to be there. So I love it. Especially from him. Because he was a younger guy this year, and you're seeing our guys go from boys to men. You're seeing, as Carlos and these guys are stepping out, you're seeing new leadership step up. That speaks to culture. That speaks to what's being taught. That speaks to what's being said every day in the team meetings, in the defensive meetings, in the offensive meetings, in the position meetings. They're talking, they're talking about Trojan culture and what that really means. And now you're hearing the players say it. They've been hearing the coaches say it all the time. But when the players are the ones beating the drum, when the players are the ones leading this thing, when the players are the ones who are vocal and saying the right things, that's when you have really good culture. And again, considering how Lincoln is really focusing on grassroots and high school players, that's what you want to see. That is part of development as much as it is on the field. And these guys, with the technique and how they play, the mindset, training the mindset and conditioning the mindset and changing that is everything. And we're seeing it from our leadership, from our older guys. We're seeing it from Jide, who I love. I mean, Mark, listen. In regards to Jide Abasiri, this is a guy who, in the last show I said to you, for linebackers, we need physical, tough, raw dogs. We don't need, guys who are, got great footwork or guys who are fast in the 40 and can jump high. We need dogs. He's a dog. So when a dog like that is talking like that, you just, as a Trojan alum, Trojan fan, somebody who loves Trojan Nation, you have to love that, because the old guys are saying the message and the young guys are saying the same message. And that's just, again, that's culture. And that's just, it adds to everything that went right for us this year. It didn't go perfect for it this year. This year was not the standard, but it speaks to the culture moving forward. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. And, let me also point this out. It's kind of a little footnote here, but he's one of the guys who has not re-signed yet. But the fact that he's there, it's going to happen. His announcement's going to come sooner rather than later. But Coach Lynn even talked about Jide. Bruce Feldman called him one of the freaks. I mean, he's on that freak list of, he looks the part. I mean, NFL GMs are like, ooh, can't wait to get him.
Yeah.
But not only does, Lynn talks about his versatility, but, with Jide, assuming he's coming back next year, he's, like you said, he's one of those dudes. And all of a sudden now, he goes from somebody who's still raw. I mean, he's just learning how to play the game. When he started playing football, he told me, he goes, I wanted to be a running back. It didn't work out. His parents didn't want him to play football. They remember old school football, how, guys used to get their helmets knocked off, and, that was just part of the game. So he's still actually learning the game. Jide coming back, that size, that freak ability. We know the players that are returning as well, with Jakeem Stewart and Floyd Boucard. Whether Lynn is part of the coaching staff next year or not, we're going to talk about that coming up next. But there's some really nice pieces returning, Jide being one of them, Christian Pierce being another at safety. All of a sudden, these young pups, they're going to be those dogs that you're talking about, Marvin.
Yep.
They're no longer puppies. When you're after your first 2 years, you're considered a veteran. You're the old man on the roster. Mm-hmm. I mentioned that to Jide. He's like, man, I can't believe how quickly time's gone by. I'm only 19. I'm already going into my third year.
Yeah.
But that's how fast it moves. All right. So got a chance to talk to Coach Lynn. I'm going to tell you what he said and tell you what he didn't say. You and I will talk about that. And then in the third segment, there could be some other coaching news going on this offseason for USC. Lots of stuff coming up. That's all coming up next. Let's talk about something most men don't bring up, but they absolutely should. Stress from work, money, life. This doesn't switch off at night. And it shows up at the worst possible time. That's when Rouge Get Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rouge Get Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support the brain and the body so you can feel present, you can feel confident, and ready when the moment matters. Rouge Get Ready combines 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint. It's going to dissolve under your tongue, so it absorbs incredibly fast. You connect with a board-certified doctor online. Everything is going to ship discreetly right to your front door. And most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average. So You can stay present, you can stay competent, and you're in control when the moment is right. If you've been thinking about taking that next step, now's the time. Head on over to rugiet.com/lockedoncollege. That's rugiet.com/lockedoncollege, and you're going to get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rugiet ready, feel present, feel confident, feel ready. Thank you again for making Locked On USC your first listen of the day. And thank you one more time for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. For those of you who like to listen to the show rather than watch the show and see these pretty faces in front of you, tell you what, this is a chance for you to kind of take it up a level. You already live USC every single day. Here's a chance for you to go ad-free. You can join the Everydayers Club. You can get Locked On USC with no interruptions. You're going to get the members-only Discord access. You're going to get more than just that. And you can do it all for just $5 a month, $50 a year. Check out the link in the show's description page for more information. Okay. Marvin, D'Anton Lynn is still USC's defensive coordinator. However, I finally got the chance to ask him the question everyone's been wondering about since the news broke a couple weeks ago. This was the first chance he's actually spoken to the media since then. And I knew I was going to get the coach speak answer, but you have to ask the question regardless. So I parsed it this way. I tried to kind of reel him in a little bit. Part of the offseason now is all about the transfer portal, and he's nodding along. Yep. As well as coaches moving along, and that's when the body language stopped. So I asked Coach Lynn about the speculation surrounding his name and his alma mater, Penn State, 2 years in a row. And this is what he had to say. Quote, I just focus on the players. I just focus on what's in front of me, their growth, their development, and just trying to get to their 10th win. End quote. As I anticipated, not a lot of meat on that bone. Marvin, again, it's not what he said, it's what he didn't say. He could have squashed it right there and said, hey, no, I'm the defensive coordinator. I'm looking forward to being here next year, yada, yada, yada. He didn't do that. What's your take? What did you see when you saw the answer?
Yeah, listen, I'm thankful for D'Anton Lynn. We've absolutely have been better off with him in his time here. And it says a lot that a school like Penn State, listen, I'm a Trojan. I don't have a number 2 team, okay? But there are teams that I respect. I love the history of college football, so on and so forth. Penn State is a proud program, okay? Yes. They are a legit program. And for them to continually come after our DC just lets you know how real he is and how good he is and how he's seen and how he's viewed, okay? They had a disastrous season. They're starting from the bottom. They have to rebuild this and get some credibility and get recruits in, and they want our guy to do that. So that speaks a lot. I'm thankful for his professionalism. I think he handled that question with class. I think it was a tough situation, Mark. I love the fact that you asked the question, first of all. I'm thankful for you for asking that question because people want to know. You know what I mean? Like, what's going on here? Is it going to be with us, be with her? So, at the end of the day, he gave the coach answer. I like the fact that, and I do believe him, that he really is focusing on these kids in this game. Again, just like players don't want to have bad film, when you're a DC, when you're a coach in charge of a whole unit, you don't want to have a bad outing, a bad showing. So believe me, he has every reason in the world to go out here and make sure our defense performs well against a TCU team who will be led without their starting quarterback. But no, he gave the coach an answer. He doesn't, obviously it's a situation where it's a calendar issue. I hate it for him. I wish the guy the best in the world. He's out of here. That's the bottom line, y'all. He's gone. As soon as they agree on the details in the contract or whatever the numbers, he's out of here. But I have a lot of respect for him and the way he is handling this. Sure. And I believe that, our team will be prepared the best they can, give them what we have coming back. And I expect this to be a good game for us. But he didn't want to go there. He didn't want to go there, man. It's been so explosive, crazy. And he knows how we feel. Trojan fans, alums, he knows how we feel. We want to get this thing over with, make a decision, So I respect his answer. I respect the fact that he's really all in on TCU right now, and I do believe that. And I'm excited to see this game.
No, nobody should question the fact that USC's defense, where it might not be where everybody wants to see it, it is in a much, much, much better place than it was before he got here.
Mhm.
He's also a consummate professional. I mean, his father's an NFL coach.
Right.
He grew up in the industry, so he knows how to handle the situation. We might
Absolutely.
want him to be a little bit more candid, maybe show a little bit more emotion, a little more passion in his voice when he speaks. That's just
Mhm.
not who he is, and that's fine
Yeah.
as long as you're getting the desired results on the field.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this question then, because I think everybody's in agreement based on the answer and how things are kind of playing out. How fast does USC move once the bowl game is over? Or is it 24 hours, 36, a week?
Absolutely. Listen, at this point, you should believe that Chad and Jen and Lincoln, they have a list. They know exactly who they want. I haven't heard anything, so I'm not admitting to anything, but I would think there have been conversations with agents and other people related to other DCs and possible candidates. And there's no doubt that the minute that the ball drops, that Lincoln and Jen and Chad are going to have an offer out to the next best guy. There's been a lot of names out there. They've been talking about this guy from Texas who I like. I like that. I like that move. But
his resume is good.
Yeah. It's, listen, right now, what I really love is that in college, these are kids. Granted, they're getting paid now, so I know that whole conversation is changing, but it's really about the kids, the student athletes. And I like to hear him say that. I'm happy that, because in the NFL, it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Now, they have a different calendar, so they don't kind of go through this kind of stuff, but I'm happy to hear him say the right things. That goes to the point you made, his father, Anthony Lynn, being a professional in the same industry, he's taught his son how to move and how to navigate. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's being strategic, but I think he's being genuine at the same time. So again, just really happy about that. But yeah, this is this is a tough spot to be in, Mark. It really is for him. And I'm waiting to see them make an announcement and bring somebody in here, because we got guys coming back and we got some real dogs coming in. And believe me, this 2026 class, they want to hear who's going to be their leader on defense. That's important, man. These guys from 2027 class, they want to hear who's going to be the leader. You know what I mean? So it's a big deal. And looking at how prepared and just how Chad has really moved, and just seeing how successful he's been in the short time he's been here, I have no doubt that they have a plan and they have a guy, and we're going to know all about it as soon as this bowl game ends and Penn State drops the bag on D'Anton.
Yeah, absolutely. And when that happens, there's going to be a domino effect. It's not just going to be Coach Lynn. When a new defensive coordinator comes in, he wants to bring his own people. There is some other coaching news, smoke, rumors floating around right now on the internet. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Fridays already feel different during the basketball season, and FanDuel is making them feel even better. Every Friday night before the game tips off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick the weekend off with NBA Happy Hour. Check this out. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame. It's a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app right before the action starts. Happy Hour is always fun, but now you have an appointment. Fridays from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern have become appointment viewing with the NBA Happy Hour, and the timing is perfect. Right before the games, right before the weekend starts. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during the NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour, only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, so assuming Coach Lynn is gone, he's going to be heading back to Happy Valley, back to his alma mater, Penn State, assuming. Not saying it's happening. Everyone kind of gets that feeling. And assuming that Pete Kwiatkowski is the defensive coordinator in waiting, he was recently let go by Steve Sarkisian at Texas. Got a hell of a resume, but apparently Coach Sark doesn't feel like babysitting his defensive coordinator, which is a really odd comment to come from him. We'll talk about that when it's the right time. With that being said, so we know Coach Lynn is possibly on the move. We're now starting to hear some rumors that Coach Sean Nua, he's up for a defensive coordinator job at BYU. He has a long-standing friendship with Cougars head coach Kalani Sitake. So that's kind of coming up all of a sudden. That's kind of bubbling to the surface. Marvin, I think this could be setting up a perfect reunion. Coach PK, he's a guy who specializes in linebackers, edge guys. We know that defense coordinators like to bring in guys they feel comfortable working with. PK, Coach Henne. What if Coach O comes back? We know he was on social media recently talking about, hey, I'd love to be a defensive line coach. And we know how much he loves USC. Are all ducks kind of lining up in a row right now? Is that what I'm starting to feel?
Listen, it's a great time to be a Trojan. That's the bottom line. Coach Orgeron was one of the coaches on our staff when I was at USC. And as a player, I can absolutely vouch for that guy. He doesn't need me to because he has his own trophies and his resume speaks for itself as a leader, as a head coach, and what he's done as a recruiter at USC, at Miami, and LSU. I mean, his resume is stacked. Believe me. Okay, he's the real deal. He's what you see on TV, but to have that energy, to have that experience, to have that resume, to have that, to have him in our building talking to our recruits. I mean, we saw what he did in the Pete Carroll era. You know what I'm saying? He was phenomenal. He was a major part of Pete Carroll's success at USC in regards to his recruiting, in regards to his development. You look at his guys that he had at USC, who he brought in, who he developed, guys who went to the NFL. He knows what he's doing. Listen, Lincoln Riley has this thing in the right direction. You have other programs, respectable programs, Penn State, BYU, and I'm sure others who are looking at our staff and trying to pick them apart. We have guys. We do. We have coaches. I believe in our coaches. We celebrated all of these defensive coaches, Henne, Nua, Belk, Ryan, D'Anton. We celebrated all these guys when they came in. We had an online parade for these guys pretty much, you know what I mean? And rightfully so, because they came in with serious resumes, and I think, we've seen improvement. Listen, I love Nua just because I know what he's doing in recruiting. I hear how the players talk about him, how the recruits talk about him. Yep. This guy is great at building relationships. He seems to be a very genuine, very grounded, humble guy who's had his own success. Yeah, you know what I mean? So the fact that these other programs who are highly respected, BYU in this case, Penn State again, the fact that they want our guys should tell us something. We got a crew, guys. We have a crew. We have a good staff. And I think it's hard to turn down your alma mater. It is, man. When you've played before the portal, before NIL, you were going to be a 4 or 5 year player, and you dedicated everything to that school, your heart, your soul, your everything. So he loves BYU. He loves his school. He loves where he played, where he came from. And if they offer him to give him an opportunity to run the defense at the school he played for, and their program is playing good ball right now, I mean, I get it for him. I do. I completely get it. Not that it's a better opportunity than USC, but it's different when you went there and you played there. It's completely different. So, yeah,
it's the next step. It's the next step in exactly. in his coaching life. You go from defensive line, defensive coordinator. I don't know if he wants to be a head coach or not, but this is the next.
Everybody wants to be the man, Mark. Everybody wants to be a man at some point. And again, it's part of Lincoln's job to help his guys move on and move up. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So this is as much as it sucks if it goes down, it's a good thing. And it's a testament to the fact that we have something going on at Heritage Hall right now.
No, look, I like all of USC's coaches. You mentioned Sean Nua, how humble he is. He never wants any of the adoration. He's not looking for any of the credit. That's who he is. He's just a really solid guy. But yeah, if he moves on, and again, I'm just, kind of looking at pie in the sky right now, but I'm just envisioning the energy that a Coach Henne and a Coach O could put together. I mean, that's the type of stuff you build bombs with. I mean,
yeah,
it's energy.
I mean, listen, that is elite without question. When you look at their resumes and what they've done, the people who they've coached, the success their players have had, I would love to get Coach O back. For those who don't know, he's it, guys. He's what you want.
He's that dude. And I'm just looking at it from this perspective. If Pete K is going to come in and be the defensive coordinator, I want him to be the CEO. The same way I want Coach Riley to be the CEO, the head coach, is the reason why I want him to be the best head coach he can be. They're a play caller. You can still be the guy in charge of developing the offense, but on game days, you know what? There's just so much going on. So yeah, Pete, be the defensive coordinator, put together the best staff. We know USC has the resources to make that happen. I don't know anything. I'm just trying to throw that out there so people can say, hey, wow, what if that does happen? Like you said, USC is the place to be. It's where coaches want to come to. So come, get your foot in the door, do what you got to do, move on, move up the ladder, so to speak. Next guy steps on in and takes over. That's what it's all about, right? So
it is. Listen, it's Mark. It's a great time to be a Trojan. It is a great time to be a Trojan. I love it. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about where we are right now, what's going on. I hate to lose these coaches and some of the guys who won't resign, but man, this is looking good right now. I'm very happy.
Yeah, I am too. And as far as Jide Abasiri, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. Before we shook hands before I left. And I said, hey, I'll see you in the spring. And I don't know if I wasn't trying to catch him. It was like, yes, sir. So again, he hasn't made his announcement yet, but I think it's a pretty good sign that he'll be back as well. As you said, there's a lot of dudes on this team, and the talent's only getting better. So get a chance to watch this team one more time playing the Alamo Bowl. Remember what you see, because that's going to be the last thing you see until they suit up again in the fall. We're not sure who their first opponent's going to be. We're still waiting to get that schedule worked out, but I'll let you know when I find out. So until that next episode of Locked On USC, everyone, you know what to do. I'll see you later this week, Marvin.
That's right.